If you have stiff, sore, or achy knees after you sit for a while, there is a solution. In this video, I'll explain why sitting knee pain happens and the steps to eliminate it. Recently, I had a friend come up to me and she said, listen, I really need to talk to you about my left knee. My left knee's been hurting a lot. Now, this is a friend, I've been friends with her for at least 15 years. I know she had a skiing injury and it was probably around 15 to 20 years ago. She recovered from that injury, but I just know that she's careful. She's careful about doing things that put pressure on her left knee or that use her left knee a whole lot. So there's a ditch along the edge of her property, at least I think that's where she was, and somehow there had been, some trash there. She went through the ditch, picked up the trash, kind of went along and didn't really think much of it. But in the next day or two, her left knee started to hurt and more over the coming week. She has left knee pain, particularly when she's still. So first thing in the morning when she wakes up and gets out of bed, or if she, sits too long, maybe she has an extra long lunch with friends, and then she goes to stand up. She the longer it's been in terms of her sitting, she can really struggle. If she has to kind of, she limps around a little bit. It feels like her left knee is going to buckle on her because of the pain. She might even hold on to furniture a little bit. As she limps around for a few minutes, it warms up and then she can kind of move around and be fine. But it's quite bothersome. Now, I'm pretty sure that if she had gone to see a traditional physical therapist or, a physician, even one that specializes in knee pain or surgery and so forth, an orthopedist, let's say, she would probably have been told, you need to strengthen your muscles and take pressure off of your knee. But here's the thing. Walking in that ditch a few weeks before didn't make her muscles weak. So strengthening the muscles probably won't be the solution for her sitting knee pain. Rather, the reason she got that knee pain when she sits is because when she walked in that ditch on very, rocky terrain and steep and, sideways inclines and so on, her knee wasn't strong enough inside of it, not the muscles around her knee, but the inside of her knee, to absorb and withstand the forces that particular activity put on her knee. When the surfaces inside your knees are strong and healthy, they withstand force very, very well. So they withstand high impact forces like running and jumping, low impact forces like walking or hiking, or even sustained forces like the pressure when your knee is bent or in one particular position and the surfaces are just touching one another with a light amount of pressure. Healthy, strong knees withstand all of those forces really well. The surfaces I'm talking about are the ones behind your kneecap, your patella, the surface where the kneecap moves, and the end of your thigh bone called the trochlear groove, and the end of your thigh bone, the femur, and the top of the main shin bone, which is the tibia. All of those surfaces need to be strong and healthy to withstand all those forces. The other great thing about strong, healthy knees is that there's a lubricant. That lubricant makes the surfaces inside your knees really slick. So motion, even straightening your knees or even standing up from a chair after you've been sitting for a long time, all of that motion occurs more easily when the lubricant is present. But if your knees get weaker, two things happen. One, those surfaces inside your knees, when they're strong, they're firm surfaces and they withstand the forces really well. Forces, low impact or high impact forces. When they get weaker, those surfaces actually get softer. And so those same activities may cause knee pain. But the other thing that happens in weaker knees is that you have less of a lubricant. That healthy lubricant that's present in strong knees isn't present in as great of a degree when your knees are weaker. So now if you're sitting, for example, the surfaces inside your knees are touching one another. The longer you stay there in that position, the more they start to stick together or gel together. That makes it feel really uncomfortable when you go to stand up because there's not that lubricant present to easily allow your knees to move. This can show up when you wake up in the morning and you've been lying in bed, not moving most of the night. It can happen after a really long flight. It can happen even like after a long meal with friends. And the weaker your knees get, the faster the sitting knee pain will happen. Okay, let's talk about how to get rid of sitting knee pain. The first recommendation I have for you is not going to eliminate it all by itself, but it's a great place to get started. First thing to do is interrupt your sitting knee positions. So for some people, this means setting a timer on their phone for 30 minutes. And when that timer goes off, they get up and walk around for roughly 30 seconds. They don't necessarily time the 30 seconds. They just go get a drink of water, go to the bathroom, do something that's up and away from their desk. But there's going to be a lot of times when you're at your desk and you're on a Zoom call and you can't get up and walk away, or you're in an in-person meeting, or you're having, a family dinner, or you're on a plane. In all those cases, and you're not able to get up and walk around very easily, what I would recommend is to have a furniture mover available. So furniture movers come in plastic backs for carpeted surfaces, and they come in the felted backs for hardwood surfaces. So in this case, I'm going to use this felted one. The felt on top is really just, it didn't come with the furniture slider. It's just so that you can see it on this video. So you place it on the floor, your foot goes on top, and you gently slide your foot in and out. You can do this 3 or 4 times and go back to your work, or you can set a timer for 3 or 4 minutes and do it for a longer period of time. There is, as long as your knee feels good or neutral while you're doing it and immediately afterwards, there's an accumulative effect. So the longer you do it, the more it massages those surfaces deep inside your knee. But even doing it for a very short period of time, a few repetitions like this, is going to interrupt that sustained position of the surfaces just touching each other and kind of sticking or gelling together inside your knee. And that can prevent some of that pain that you feel or discomfort when you've been sitting a while and then you go to stand up. Okay, quick interruption. If you're finding this video helpful, please like it so others will find it as well. Another recommendation to eliminate sitting knee pain is to increase the quality of the fluid inside your knees. So healthy joint fluid inside your knees, healthy fluid is the consistency of egg whites. It's thick and it's viscous. If you're having sitting knee pain, you probably have thinner fluid, more watery fluid inside your knees. And so when the two surfaces touch each other, or behind the kneecap or between the end of the thigh bone and the shin bone, when they're touching each other, they don't have that thick fluid to separate them, and they start to stick together or gel together. We want to avoid that. We avoid that by thickening your joint fluid. And research shows that you can thicken your joint fluid by engaging the muscle on the front of your thigh. These are the quadriceps muscles. You're going to engage them in a very special way. It's called an isometric contraction, meaning you're turning on these muscles without your leg moving. So I can turn on these muscles and straighten my knee, but that's not the type of contraction we're talking about here. One way to get that contraction is scoot to the edge of your chair, the edge of your seat, and rest your heel on the floor. With your heel on the floor, then you're going to tighten these muscles. Now, you're going to dig your heel into the floor just a little bit, and that's going to turn on the muscles on the back of your thigh and prevent your knee from going completely straight or hyperextending, right? We're trying to get a contraction here without your knee moving a whole lot. So by digging your heel in, you'll get your hamstring muscles engaged, which will kind of resist you when you turn this muscle on, or these 4 muscles together. So you turn these muscles on, and you're going to hold for 5 seconds. And then when the 5 seconds is up, you'll completely relax your leg. You can do 3 of these, 5 of these, 10. I sometimes have clients do 20 in a row. It needs to feel good for your knee. That's really critical. And then you can do this a few different times during the day. There is a compounding effect to turning on this muscle. So the more frequently you do this throughout the day, the more total number of times you do each day, the better results you'll see. You can also thicken the fluid inside your knee to decrease sitting knee pain by standing against a wall or leaning against a wall. My heels are about 18 inches away from the wall, and in this position, I'm going to lift my forefeet up. So I lift my forefeet up. I'm not allowing my knees to straighten completely or hyperextend. What you'll probably feel, and you'll hold this for about 5 seconds, what you'll probably feel is the muscles on the front of your shins, because those are the muscles that are really working to lift your feet. But the important part for eliminating knee pain while you're sitting is that as you do that, as you lift your forefeet up like this, what happens is these muscles gently turn on. And that's what we're more concerned with, is that these muscles turning on will thicken this joint fluid. So you'll lift your toes, you'll hold this position for a full 5 seconds, and then after the 5 seconds, you'll relax, and you can complete that 3, 5, 10 times in a row. And this can be done a few different times during the day, especially to interrupt your sitting. But let's say the previous 2 recommendations weren't all that comfortable for your knees, or you're already at home, you're sitting on the couch, or maybe you've just woken up, you're still lying in bed. Having your legs in a supported position, I have a large bath towel rolled up underneath my knees. This is probably my favorite way to turn on the thigh muscles. So I think it's the most comfortable for the most people, and you can activate some nearby muscles, which has additional benefit. So first, I suggest tightening your core, and I do that by thinking about, if I have a candle at arm's length, I'm gonna blow through pursed lips and exhale to blow out the candle. The tension I feel in my core, I'll maintain that, and then I'll squeeze my bum together, engage my glutes. So now my core is tight and my glutes are engaged, and now I'm gently engaging the muscles on the front of my thighs. The back of my knees will press into the towel roll. I'm still holding this for 5 seconds. And you'll notice that my heels stay on the surface that I'm sitting on. They're not going to lift up off of the surface. And then you relax everything. That's 1 repetition. You'll do 5, 10, 15, or 20 repetitions consecutively, depending on what you have time for. And then try and repeat this 3 to 5 times during the day. You also have the option to kind of mix and match. So maybe I do 10, engaging the front of your thigh muscles. I might do 10 in the morning. I get my cup of coffee, I go to the couch, I do 10 while I'm enjoying my coffee, and then I go into the office, for example, or I'm at my computer, and mid-morning I stand up and I do 5 or 10 standing against the wall, and then after lunch, I sit on the edge of my chair and I might do 5 more in that position where your heel is on the floor and you're engaging the muscle sitting on the edge of your chair. So there's a lot of different options, and kind of you mix and match and make it work for your life and your schedule. The more consistent you are with some combination of these recommendations, the sooner you'll notice your sitting knee pain improve. Now, to prevent that knee pain from ever coming back, you'll also need to strengthen the surfaces inside your knees. This involves determining how strong those surfaces are right now, and then gradually applying gently more and more force to your knees to make those surfaces stronger. In some cases, and this may not be the case for you, but in some cases, standing up from a chair and sitting down on a chair is the right amount of force placed inside the knees to strengthen their knees. However, and notice I said strengthen their knees, not strengthen their muscles. So I really think muscle strength is important, but right now the objective is strengthening the surfaces inside your knees. That has to be first, that has to be primary before you focus on the muscles getting stronger. So in your case, I don't know if this is the right amount of force inside your knees or not. It could be too easy to strengthen inside the surfaces inside your knees. And if it's too easy, you're going to be wasting your time. You're not going to get any stronger. Or on the other hand, it could be too strong of a force. And if it's too strong of a force for your knees, what's going to happen is your knees are going to actually get weaker, possibly more painful. And we definitely don't want that to happen. So to learn more, watch my next video, how to test your ability to squat without pain.